Welcome back, YouTube. This is Alex for Alex's Flying Club, making another Rise of Flight online video. And this will be a sortie over the front that I recorded maybe about a week ago. And I'm only doing the narration for it now because I've been having some problems with Windows Movie Maker. So I've thrown it overboard and I'm now using Adobe Premiere Pro to edit these videos, and hopefully the quality's better and I'll have less trouble with the video recording software, because Windows Media Player, if I don't know if you've used it before, but it was always stopping when I was trying to save the video, and I was kind of getting frustrated with it. But it's all good now. Hopefully the video quality is going to get better and can continue making these videos. Anyway, this mission was more of just a general sortie over the front, but then I received in the general chat I saw that there were a few artillery spotters that were looking for an escort to clear a sector of the front so they could make their photo observations. So I headed over there to help them with that, and we'll see how that works out for me. Now I'm just taking off in my trusty Albatros. Still recording this without Track IR. This should be the last Rise of Flight video I record without Track IR. And yeah, I'm just gonna continue the video when when I'm at the front, and I'll see you then. I think I mentioned earlier in my video that I was escorting artillery spotters and that they were taking photos, and I just realized that that makes no sense. Artillery spotters do not take photographs. That's a recon mission. So artillery spotters are communicating information to friendly artillery fire about the accuracy of their barrage. So this mission I am gonna escort artillery spotters, not photo recon. And what happened there, I was just flying over the front, and it pays to check your 6 because I just saw an enemy plane behind me, a fighter plane, and I did an evasive maneuver, and that would have been a good catch, but it was a friendly plane. He was just kind of creeping up on me, so no harm there. But the cool thing about this game is I don't know at this point that it's a friendly plane. It could still be an ally plane going after me, but it doesn't look like it now since he's not really trying to stand my 6. So at this point I just kind of calmed down, but that was quite a surprise, and it pays to check your 6, especially in Rise of Flight. So this is actually a really long mission. I edited it down to show the more eventful parts, but I was kind of flying back and forth and looking for enemy fighters and not finding any. This was kind of a cool day because there were a lot of other YouTube users that I know create videos for Rise of Flight. Actually, two main ones. I think Requiem was on here, who has some great tutorial videos about Rise of Flight. He was flying, and then also a guy named Joris. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right or not, but he flies with the Helicans, which is a really cool squadron in Rise of Flight, and I actually got introduced and excited about this game by watching his videos. And I'll put links to both Requiem and Joris. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but both of their channels I'll put links because they got some really cool Rise of Flight videos. But they were, I think they were on this server on the day that I was flying this plane. There are really only, I think, a few Rise of Flight servers that are active and that have people flying on them, and the Rise of Flight community is relatively small. I'd say it's pretty rare to see more than 30 people on a server at a time. At least I haven't really seen it that often, and it'll only usually be on one server. People will see that, when you log in, you see a whole bunch of servers listed, but only one will have a good amount of people on there, and then others see that and they'll congregate there. I forget which server this was. I think maybe Wargrounds is one of the more popular ones. Yeah, just kind of following this guy for lack of other things to do. And I think I'll cut pretty soon in this video until the time when I actually get to the sector that the artillery spotters asked for fighter support. So I'll see you then. Okay, I'm back, and I'm trying to visually find the friendly artillery spotter planes. I'm over the trench lines now. And during World War I, there were kind of a few primary functions that aircraft were intended to serve, and there are the artillery spotters. And artillery spotting was a really important one. Artillery was really the big killer in World War I in the trenches, and these planes would help direct the fire of the batteries and make it really accurate. And it's kind of cool to read about all the communication systems that they had for the artillery spotters to send back information to the batteries. And I think that they had to do it with wireless signals, and whether that was with Morse code or some other kind of system, I'm not really sure. But they had both the Allies and the Germans had a shorthand form for communicating to the batteries where, whether it was off by 100 meters or 20 meters and in what direction. So that was kind of cool. And then some of the other functions that the aircraft served were offensive functions, not including fighter planes, which were actually a defensive weapon. But offensive functions were like bombers, dive bombing, and level bombing, and then also the reconnaissance missions. They'd literally photograph the entire front, and with thousands of photographs, and just piece them together in an intel headquarters. And they'd do this on a daily basis, so it was quite a task. But here these guys, I think in Rise of Flight, I've never actually flown one of these two-seater planes, but I think they just have to stay in the sector for a certain period of time, and then that counts as an artillery mission. But I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe they actually do have to do some kind of communication functions while they're over the sector of the front. So I'm looking out for enemy fighters that may be trying to attack the two-seaters. And I'm really just trying to spot the markings on these planes, because I don't really have all the silhouettes recognized. I mean, it's hard for me to tell even basic differences. And like Sopwith Pup looks very similar to a Newport to me. I'm sure if I played this game longer, like some of these other guys that are making videos, they, with a quick glance on a plane that's really far away, they know exactly what it is. But I'm not at that level yet. For some reason, I find biplanes really hard to distinguish compared to World War II planes that have a single wing and I think a more recognizable silhouette. I think that may be just because I'm used to World War II planes. I've been reading about them for a much longer time than World War I. Actually, this game, Rise of Flight, was the cause of why I'm interested in World War I aviation as of late. So the anti-aircraft fire, which the British called Archie in World War I, it wasn't very effective, and actually it would more often than not help the enemy because they could see where in some cases they could see where the planes were just based on the Archie. Like they would oftentimes anti-aircraft batteries would try to help by having a stream of anti-aircraft fire leading towards the enemy. If they saw like a friendly plane flying nearby, they'd have a kind of a path directing it toward the enemy planes. But then the enemy planes could see that path, and it'll clue them in to where the plane was. I'm not making. I'll just stop trying to explain this. I'm not doing a good job, but maybe you know what I mean. So here I'm engaged with some Allied planes, which I recognize to be Allied planes. I'm looking for the roundels. Yeah, I actually got that guy. A little piece of him flew off. I think we were kind of racing against the clock here because the server was going to restart with a new map. I think that's what that message meant. So we kind of had to finish this in the next 5 minutes. So that was a friendly plane. It's good that I didn't shoot and rather waited to get an ID on him. That is not a friendly plane. I think he got my engine. Yeah, I think he hit my engine. Something happened. Something happened to my engine. It's not, propeller's not, it doesn't seem to be spinning at a normal rate. So at this point, there may be oil on my goggles in the game, but again, in track, you don't see that when you're looking at the recording, and it's been a week, so I don't quite recall what happened, but I'm pretty sure my engine's oiled and it's about to die. And here I'm just trying to make it back to my side of the front, because right now I'm on the Allied side. I'm trying to make it back to the German lines, and my engine's out. And let's see if I'll have enough momentum to make it there. I imagine this is a common situation that aviators in World War I would find themselves in. And at this point, you know, when your engine's out, things like wind are a big factor. Wind and how damaged your plane is, and how far behind enemy lines you are. I'm worried about no man's land. You can see the hulks of what's left of the trees below me. And it looks like I do have enough energy to make it to German lines. And I'm going to go in for a crash landing. Hopefully in a more grassy part of the front. Not into the mud. Although there were many cases where flyers would literally just land in no man's land and then had a hell of a time trying to make their way back under enemy fire to their own lines. Thanks for watching.